Right, here we are at the final session of our Exploring Beyond Divorce course. And based on Ronnie Kaufman's teachings, we've saved one of the most important for last, setting boundaries. This is such a critical skill for healing, for moving forward with real confidence. And it's so much more than just learning to say no. It's about defining who you are and how you deserve to be treated. So let's dive in. So let me just ask you something straight up. Have you ever found yourself just tolerating a rude comment or going along with a pushy person just because the idea of a conflict feels exhausting? Hey, if that hits home, you are definitely not alone. And that's exactly why we're here, to get you the tools to change that for good. So here's our game plan. We're going to break this down into 4 simple parts. First, we'll look at the warning signs that a boundary is even needed. Then, we'll get super clear on what boundaries actually are. After that, we'll build your personal toolkit. And finally, we'll talk about how to put this all into practice in the real world. Let's get started with those warning signs. Okay, section 1, the warning signs. You can't build a fence if you don't even know where your property line is. So let's look at those internal signals, those little alarm bells that go off when someone's starting to step over that line. Just take a second and be really honest with yourself on these. Is it hard for you to stand up for yourself? Do you find yourself agreeing to things just to keep the peace? Do you let those little comments or pushy requests slide? See, these are all huge clues that your boundaries might need a little reinforcing, signs that you're probably putting someone else's comfort way ahead of your own. So, now that we can spot some of the warning signs, let's get crystal clear on what we're actually talking about here. I mean, boundaries can sound like this big, vague, fuzzy concept, but really they're actually very, very concrete. Now, pay close attention to this definition because it's crucial. Notice there are 2 parts. It's not just about setting the limits for other people. The real power is in that second half, deciding for yourself how you're going to respond when someone crosses that line. That right there is where you take your power back. I absolutely love this quote because it just flips the whole script, doesn't it? We tend to think of boundaries as these big walls we put up to keep people out, but that's not it at all. A boundary is a declaration of your own self-worth. It's you telling yourself and the world, I matter. It is a profound act of self-respect. All right, enough theory. Let's get practical. This section, this is your toolkit. We've boiled down all the key principles into 4 really actionable steps you can start using like today to build stronger and healthier boundaries in your life. And here they are, the 4 steps. Look inward, give yourself permission, communicate clearly, and then practice and persist. Let's walk through what each of these really means. Everything, and I mean everything, starts right here, inside you. Step 1 is all about self-awareness. It's about tuning out all that external noise and actually listening to your own gut, your own feelings. You have to know what your limits are before you can ever hope to communicate them. So, how do you find those limits? Well, your body is already giving you clues. There are 2 really powerful internal red flags that pretty much act as your own personal early warning system. And those 2 feelings are discomfort and resentment. I want you to think of discomfort as a little tap on the shoulder. It's your gut saying, hey, something's not quite right here. But resentment? Oh, resentment is the full-blown siren going off. It's usually a sign that you've been letting your boundaries be crossed for a while and you're feeling unappreciated or taken advantage of. These feelings aren't your enemy. They are your guides. Listen to them. Now we get to what is often the absolute hardest part of this whole thing. Giving yourself permission. Fear, guilt, and self-doubt. Oh man, they are the big 3 saboteurs. We worry, what will they think? Will they get mad? We feel guilty for saying no. But you have to know this. You have a right to your limits. You have a right to put yourself first. And this is not selfish. It's necessary. And that leads us right into step 3. Communicate clearly. Look, a boundary that only exists in your head is just a wish. It's not real. We can't expect people to be mind readers. That's not fair to them, and it's definitely not fair to you. The key here is to be assertive, which is not the same as being aggressive. And just state your needs calmly, clearly, and with respect. All right, let's bring it all home with our final section, putting it into practice. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is how we make it all real. And here's the key. You do not have to start with the scariest conversation of your life. Please don't. Start small. Pick a really low-stakes situation with someone you feel relatively safe with. Practice saying no to a tiny request. Every time you do it, you build that boundary muscle. Each little success builds your confidence for the bigger challenges down the road. And I really want to leave you with this thought because it's so important. Setting boundaries is not a personality trait you're either born with or you're not. It is a skill. And just like any other skill, like playing guitar or learning a language, it takes practice. You might be a little clumsy at first, and that's okay, but you can learn it, you can get good at it, and you absolutely can master it. So, as we close out, not just this explainer, but our entire course together, I want you to really think about this question. Don't just let this be interesting information you heard. Let's turn it into action. What is the one small boundary, the one small step that you will commit to practicing starting today? That right there is where the change begins.